I hope everyone's had a good July 4th holiday weekend. Like many of you, I'm also spending July the 4th on vacation. In fact, I'm in Georgia right now. You can see the background of the trees, and it's in the evening of July 4th. So if you see fireworks, there was a firework that just went off, or explosions in the background, I apologize in advance. But I wanted to send you all a video summarizing some of the comments from the first discussion board post, and also talk a little bit about the assignment this week and next week. So generally, discussion board posts are really solid. I appreciate the fact that many of you took the time to look up some of the sources when you try to justify your costs and benefits. I appreciate that. I did take off some points for some of you who did not actually cite your sources, or you said something like, I just believe I'm going to get a return on investment from my MBA, rather than actually trying to come up with some specific numbers. So in the future, on your discussion board posts, please try to be precise. Cite your sources. If there are examples where you're actually trying to justify your costs and benefits, please take the time to cite those sources. A couple of the other things that people missed were opportunity cost, the exact definition of an opportunity cost. Many of you mentioned that your monetary costs were an opportunity cost, the tuition, the books. Those are not opportunity costs. Those are actually explicit costs. And while they are calculated in the return on investment, you do want to make sure you include those when you think about the return on investment. That is not actually your opportunity cost. Your opportunity cost is also not just the sum of all possible things you could be doing with your time. So many of you mentioned you could be spending other time studying. You could be having a job and earning money. There are lots of other things you could be doing with your time, but the opportunity cost is just the value of the next best alternative, right? So it's not the sum of all of those. So I wanted to make sure that was mentioned as well. A few of you weren't using kind of proper grammar and spelling. I didn't really take off for spelling and grammar this time, and while I'm certainly not going to be nitpicking on every detail, in the future, please try to at least use complete sentences and proper grammar. Several of your classmates did a really nice job on certain posts. For example, I mentioned earlier that it was helpful if you cited your source and justified why you think your MBA break-even point was a certain value. Dustin Buchanan actually listed the MBA salary from a Small Business Chronicle article. I think Kelsey Whitmore mentioned that people with a master's in her field were making $10,000 to $12,000 more based on some national data. And I know that there are some of you who haven't had a full-time job yet, and so you're a little unsure what the return on investment might be. However, there are plenty of sources out there, even if you just type in Google what the return on investment might be for an MBA or for a master's degree. And I will send actually some of those examples out via email. A couple of you made some very insightful comments that the return on investment shouldn't just be about monetary value. Phoebe Preeti mentioned that the value of the MBA actually is pretty strong because she wants to learn about the business side, and that the return isn't just monetary. Jackie Roth, one of the other classmates who runs a small business called a Mathnasium, really mentioned that the value to her for the MBA wasn't necessarily an incremental increase in salary, rather it reduced the uncertainty that might be associated with running the job. So the fact that she had an MBA meant that she was better able to run her business, and that was what actually brought her the value to the MBA. So that's certainly a very valid reason to pursue the MBA. It's not necessarily just about a monetary reason. It could certainly be about the pleasure that you get just from studying business. Believe it or not, there are people out there who actually just enjoy studying economics, but it could also be for other reasons. The important thing is that when you actually calculated the ROI, I wanted you to think about exactly what those returns might be, rather than just saying, I think this or I believe this is going to happen. A couple of you forgot to make a response post, so if you don't respond to your peers, I will take points off. So please make sure that certainly by tomorrow night, by Sunday, July 5th, that you make a response post to one of your classmates' posts. I think that's all I want to say about the discussion board posts. Generally, I was pretty pleased with the discussion that was going on. There was a lot of interaction between the classmates. Please take advantage of that. Certainly, one of the best reasons to do an MBA is to network and find other people in your field and get their insights. So I do appreciate everybody taking the time to write some pretty detailed posts around this particular discussion board topic. So also, don't forget to do your second discussion board response for this week, and also please be sure to submit your assignment for Connect. Recall that you have 2 attempts. I've gotten a couple questions from people about how it's graded. It's only your second attempt that will count. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to sync with Blackboard, so I apologize. So it might not be till Tuesday before you see that actually syncing through to Blackboard, but it is the second attempt that will actually count. There's also the opportunity to do those LearnSmart modules. They are optional, but there will be an exam, not this coming week, but in the next week after that, the week beginning July 13th. So I would encourage you, if you're struggling a little bit with some of the material, to go ahead and look at those LearnSmart modules. Please don't be shy about sending me emails. I've gotten lots of emails. I've had phone conversations with people. I've had people in my office hours. So even though it's an online class, I'm very responsive. You know, I'll generally respond to your emails very quickly. Happy to take a phone call. Happy to set up an office hour or a virtual office hour if you'd like. So please don't be shy about reaching out to me. But otherwise, I think that's all I really have to say for this week. I hope everyone is enjoying the July 4th weekend. Like I said, I certainly plan to do so as well, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.